Good evening, everybody. This is Omar Serrato with the Tilted Lawyer podcast. And, here to talk about the Blake Lively case. It wasn't a case that I really wanted to get all that involved with, but there's been such a clamoring of people wanting me to decipher Eating's case. The last time I covered this case, when the initial complaints had come out, there was quite a few of you that were upset with me because I was speaking, I was criticizing the countersuits from Baldoni's attorneys, and I really wasn't criticizing Baldoni, although I was making mention that perhaps Blake Lively wasn't worth the trouble to have her be a part of whatever the F this movie was supposed to be, adaptation of this novel that was successful back in 2019. She was supposed to be playing a 23-year-old young girl embarking on some kind of a love story. I still haven't seen the movie, by the way. Of all of the characters that I had opined that could have played that role, Blake Lively, why her? Why her? So she's married to Ryan Reynolds. Good for her. She seems to be a player in Hollywood, or at least she thinks that she is. I mean, clearly she is. She has strings that she pulls. The reason why I was interested in this case, because celebrity gossip is not a thing that I do. And this is not a celebrity gossip case. Make no mistake about it. My biggest fascination with this case was the fact that Blake Lively appeared to me to be weaponizing sexual harassment claims against Justin Baldoni. And look, we've been through a whole decade of peaks and valleys with how these cases are litigated and tried. And for her to come out and say that it was being sexually inappropriate in any kind of way, however innocent or however seemingly innocuous, is a career killer. And folks, my voice is still kind of recovering. I apologize in advance. It's not going to be my normal voice. I'm kind of forcing my voice right now to make sounds. So here we are. What's up, Angel? I see you there in the comments. Happy Angie. Winks. I know Bruce is over there resting his antlers. He had an interesting birthday weekend, that guy did. Here's what I'm not going to do on today's show. I'm not going to dissect and read word for word for 6 hours the entire amended complaint. But I was very curious. I thought about this. If I was defending a person such as a Justin Baldoni, who I suspected was being falsely accused of anything having to relate to sexual misconduct, how would I litigate the case? I'll tell you how. I would go on the offensive. I would go out of my way to rip to shreds the character of the accused. If I had knowledge and there was evidence that pointed directly to the fact that she was a liar. Now, I titled this live stream, "Is Blake Lively an effing liar?" I don't know if she is or not. Maybe she is. Maybe she's a truth teller. I don't know. But in what I learned about her allegations versus Baldoni's response and his allegations, her allegations against Justin just don't seem to make much of any sense whatsoever. It was like a 2-second sex scene. There was nudity writers. There was inappropriate comments. There was all of these rules. The rules kept on shifting and changing. She seemed to at times have been friendly with Baldoni. They were holding each other's babies. They weren't supposed to talk about their past. I think there was some innocuous comment that she had mentioned that came up in text message. It's just this bizarre case. When you read her initial lawsuit, it makes Justin Baldoni out to be a liar and a predator. I mean, she makes him out to be a predator, full stop. And if you're labeled as such in Hollywood nowadays, especially nowadays, that could very well spell the end of your career. So we don't take lightly when people try to go after celebrities and based on their subjective interpretations and their inability to have any kind of depth of what it means to be offended. because of their sensibilities, somebody is forced to defend the very fact that they're just a good person, that they're not a sexual predator, that they're not whatever she's trying to claim. And, whatever let's just say that he made her feel uncomfortable. Let's just say that there were some weird things that he did on set, just some socially inept, socially awkward things. For her to elevate that to the level of sexual harassment or something else or something more nefarious, that is the problem that I have with her, because it's been going on now. It's been getting a bit much. After Harvey Weinstein, there was a lot of fallout from that case. One positive thing that came from that case was Hollywood was exposed for being the rotten casting couch culture that it has been for about 100 years, a little over 100 years. Powerful men, powerful execs of movie studios who had the power to make or break your career, change the full course of your life, but for you perform for them. A little dance, a little sexual favor, a little sexual window, whatever your pleasure. And they would prey upon these ladies and, that whole culture. Harvey Weinstein, all of that came crashing down with him. Has it been fully eradicated? I sincerely doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. The Puffy case, I think, is evidence enough of that stuff still goes on. And even after that case is over, that's always going to go on. You're not going to ever clean that stuff up. But one bad thing that came from that whole situation was the fact that you had the Me Too movement, which was well-intentioned, but people took it way too far. Way too far. Now, everything was sexual harassment. You couldn't compliment a lady on the color of her sweater without being accused of subjecting her to the male gaze. We backtracked as a society. We lost a few brain cells, a few measures of common sense, and we devolved into something, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it, but I would call it a culture in the middle of a giant shift towards what? I don't know. Now, it's starting to pendulum back the other way, and people are starting to put back on or regain some of the measures of common sense that they lost. And while we're here, and now you can look at a lawsuit like this kind of sideways, like, okay, so he made sexually inappropriate comments. He was sexually inappropriate with you on set of a sex scene. Okay, but what do we know about sex scenes in Hollywood? Well, from their pleadings, we know that there was nudity writers. We know that there was supposed to be somebody there at all times on sets, coordinating and blocking out exactly what they were going to do. There was going to be extensive conversations about place your hand there, don't do this, don't do that, only do this, don't talk about your personal, don't whatever. It was all completely written out exactly how they were going to be. Not only would it have been the two parties there involved, it would have also been the entire crew of video production and other things that people do to produce movies that would have been witnesses to all of it. So when you say that he's being sexually inappropriate on set, I need you to be specific about what you mean. Now, I understand that there's videos and other things that have come out. There's a whole website that is launched. I was really curious when I heard Baldoni's attorney come out and say something like this. I'm going to share with you a video that grabbed my attention. Let me just share this. All right. Ooh. Let me fix my audio, folks. Otherwise, there's going to be a big, giant echo. Okay. This was the video that caught my attention.
You are about to file a lawsuit against Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan. Are we correct? And if so, is it a similar allegation to the New York Times case?
She'll definitely be sued. There's no question about that. I mean, it's just a matter of when and for what. And whether she's included with others or not. And frankly, I'm not prepared to give up our legal strategy, but you can rest assured that based on the investigation we've done, the text messages we have, the receipts that'll go along with that complaint, she's dead in the water.
I get the allegation. I really do understand that. But when it comes to publicists trying to manage a story, plant a story, skew a story, kill a story. We've seen that from every publicist in this town. So I don't understand why this case is different.
I think you'd have to ask Blake Lively and her people, because they're the ones that started this case. And they started this case by claiming there was a smear campaign. And what I'm about to show everyone, frankly, are the receipts that show it's not a smear campaign. As a matter of fact, the smear campaign was started by Leslie Sloan and Stephanie Jones. And it's all right there for everyone to see.
Both sides tried to skew this story because we've been on the recipient end of that. Justin's team, Blake's team. We're on that receiving end. We've seen it. So that's the part I don't get.
Well, I'd say this, Harvey, you just kind of made yourself a witness. So what I would say is save
Well, that's
your
okay.
receipts.
I'm okay with that because I could talk about things that Blake's team did to him and things that Justin's team did to Blake. And I can talk about both.
You might be an expert witness, actually. And because you've been doing it for so long.
Because it sounds like something that we've seen.
We have seen
for 19 years, Brian, that publicists,
that's what they do.
See, but the problem is, like the lawyer pointed out, is look, they weren't going to raise the issue. Yeah, that might have been the practice for the last 19 years. That's been the practice for the last 100 years. PR campaigns have been a thing, from the dawn of man. The problem is that she was the one that alleged the smear campaign against him. And he's saying, hold on a minute. And it wasn't just that she alleged a smear campaign. She alleged all this other sexual misconduct and tied that all together, trying to ruin his reputation. In essence, placing it in litigation, whereby if she were to prevail in litigation, it would end Baldoni forever. She's forced him into this. So now he's got to hit back, and now he's got to come and bring the receipts. Now, granted, I haven't seen or read through this amended complaint. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there going through word for word, trying to ferret all this out. I'm going to cover on the highlights of all of this. But look, the reason why we're here is because Lively wanted to accuse Baldoni of being something. And he had and is being forced to defend himself. Now he has a countersuit, and he's bringing the receipts, he's bringing the evidence. Her attorney team has done an amazing job of putting this thing together for the courts. They have published an entire website full of a timeline of evidence that they're going to use for their case. So, so we'll see how that pans out. How much we got?
They create smear campaigns.
Yeah.
Is that what they do?
They do. I mean, Brian, that doesn't mean we buy it, but yes. And it's happened on both sides in the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni war. Both sides.
So that's good to know. But we'll see what the documents actually say, because that's what we have are documents. Documents actually don't lie. People do. And it's important that everyone sees all of the documents that are involved in the case, because there are people that have been destroyed as a result of the allegations that have been made so far in this case.
So without even reading or looking at any of the receipts that he's talking about, context is everything when it comes to allegations. When you accuse somebody of something, when you accuse somebody of sexual harassment in your job place or whatever, let's just say there's not surveillance footage to document visually what happened. Then it's he said, she said. And that's basically what we have here. But there's text messages back and forth that tell the context of what was going on. And Baldoni was so disenchanted with, or Lively was so disenchanted with him because of all the things, but they're sharing family photographs and they're doing things like this. She's accusing him of trying to ruin her reputation. Well, if he has text messages and emails to people in the industry that show that she's actually the one trying to do all of those things, that's a problem. It doesn't mean that Justin is innocent of trying to run a smear campaign. And I think that what I'm gathering from this attorney, from that video, is that we're probably going to see evidence that, yeah, he probably did a bit of that, but it wasn't the way that she said. And it wasn't without her taking shots at him. and dragging him into this litigation, which is the reason why we're here. So, without further ado, the amended complaint, it was just filed. It was just filed on Friday night, I think. If you haven't, well, I'm assuming if you're here, you're probably aware of Lauren Knighty and Bruce from Oregon, but they sat for 6 hours reading word for word the contents of the amended complaint. I'm not going to really do all of that. I will hit some of the highlights. But the causes of action in their amended complaint amounts to civil extortion, alleging that Lively made wrongful threats, including threats to breach the contracts that she had already signed up for, and defame the wayfarer parties, demanding money, property, services, other things of value without proper entitlement. And it claims that wayfarer parties complied with these wrongful demands and were harmed as a result. And we went through some of that in the initial complaint. Where it's like, why are we, okay, y'all had a $500 budget and she wants to exceed the budget by like 20 times because she has to wear these $5,000 shoes. And then they went along with it. And my criticism of Baldoni at the time was, look, just because she said she wants these things, you guys had a contract and you were giving into her demands. Fundamentally in contract law, when she makes those demands, it constitutes a counter offer to the original contract, even if it's already in place. And their acquiescence to her demands rewrites the contract in real time. So every single time they did that, it was feeding into this monster that became Blake Lively on the set. Never mind whether or not she was the proper person that should have been cast in that part. It was in my opinion that I thought perhaps somebody that was actually 23 years old, some up-and-coming star, somebody trying to make a name for themselves that would love to be a part of a movie like this that wouldn't have any quarrel with wearing $50 shoes from Payless. Is that even still a thing? From wherever. I don't know, but they wouldn't have squabbled about the contents of the writing, or try to change scenes, or try to change wardrobes, or try to change anything. So they gave into these things, and yeah, they were harmed because of it, and her lawyer bears that out. Of course, defamation is included, asserting that Lively made defamatory statements to third parties, including the New York Times, falsely portraying the wayfarer parties as orchestrating a smear campaign against Lively, and they're going to bring their receipts. It alleges the statements were false, harmed the reputation of the wayfarer parties, and that the Lively parties acted with malice. Part and parcel with that cause of action, you have false lights, invasion of privacy, claiming that Lively publicly disclosed information about their professional decisions, moral character, private lives, family, portraying them in a false light. And this was intended to be highly offensive to a reasonable person and was done with oppression, fraud, and malice. That's the standard for false light, invasion of privacy. There's, of course, breach of implied covenant of good faith, alleging that Lively breached the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing in her contract with Wayfarer by engaging in the smear campaign and making false allegations, stating that she did not act fairly and in good faith and therefore cause harm. Then you roll into intentional interference with prospective economic advantage and negligent interference with prospective economic advantage, basically saying that because of all of these things, my client has not made as much money as he could have. He's lost out on all these jobs and all these extra sources of income because he's now ruined in the industry. And who's going to work with him now? Because he's wound up in this litigation that's scheduled for trial in 2006, but more realistically, he's probably not going to get to trial until like 2028, not 2006, 2026. But I predicted we're like 3 years away from a trial in this case. There's no way they're going to trial in 2026. There's just no way. There's depositions, there's discovery. There's going to be mountains of discovery. The pleadings in this case are huge. You're talking about millions of dollars in legal fees on an annual basis to litigate a case like this. It is a mess. Promissory fraud was one of the causes of action, including a claim against the New York Times stating that the Times made a false promise to the Wayfarer parties by agreeing to provide a meaningful opportunity to respond before publishing an article based on the allegations, but then publishing before the stated deadline. There was a breach of implied in fact contract, where the Wayfair parties assert that an implied in fact contract was created with the New York Times that the Times would refrain from publishing before the deadline in exchange for a substantive response and verification of communications. So when you say a breach of implied in fact contracts, that's when two parties act as if they have an agreement to something. For example, Blake Lively doesn't want to wear the wardrobe that was contracted for her part. So she proposes that I need to wear these $5,000 shoes. I just feel like this character would have wore these $5,000 shoes. And you know what? This shooting location, not up to par. You know what? We're going to have to do it at my place. Now, she says that. And then if you say, okay, and then you do it, you have now implied in fact modified the original contract. Now you have this other contract with its own terms and conditions that you could potentially breach and be remedied with damages, or have remedies for your damages, rather. The complaint reiterates the claim that Lively's team was responsible for a smear campaign against Baldoni, not the other way around, that Lively's legal actions and public statements are a form of retaliation. The Wayfair parties assert that Lively and Reynolds engaged in a coordinated effort to damage Baldoni's reputation and career. And the complaint suggests that Lively's team may have been coordinating with the New York Times over a matter of months. Now, there's 168 pages of exhibits with that case. Oh, folks, because it's a one-man show tonight, I'm likely not going to see your comments as I'm going through these documents. I may at some point be joined by Lethal Lauren herself, and or Schnitzel the Ninja. We'll see. But until that happens, I can't see what you guys are typing unless you guys do super chats, and then I get like a little ring in my ear, and then I'll be forced to stop what I'm doing to read and respond to your comments. So I'll do my best. Let me get into this complaint. All right. So I was advised by Lauren that the initial 222 pages of the complaint was essentially a repeat of the fact pattern from the original complaint, which makes sense. But they're changing it in some kind of a way. Yeah, they're rehashing things. I'm not going to rehash the entire complaint. So I'm going to focus on the evidence here. And I just had it up. Oh, it was in this thing. Timeline of related events. Timeline of related events. I'm going to share this with you all, and we'll see where we land with all of this. And hopefully I will get some reinforcements at some point in the near future to help out and provide context to all this stuff. I'm here to offer my legal expertise. But just personally speaking, I think that Baldoni's attorneys have one job, and it's to go out and seek and destroy evidence that makes Lively a liar. Not just her, but all those around her. Because when you're alleging smear campaigns, there's multiple people that are involved in the campaigns. Let me share my page before. How do I even do this? Here we go. I gotta go. F. All right, I think I gotta do it like. Yeah. No. Shit. I just want to share my page, man. Okay, let me try it a different way. Oh, here it is. Is that it? Yeah, that's the one. All right. So 168 pages of exhibits. So this is their exhibit A. And they start out, the following timeline is intended to be read in conjunction with consolidated plaintiff's first amended complaint. is expressly incorporated therein by reference. This document provides a summarized account of the sequence of key events. Well, if that's how they're intending it, I think that I would be remiss if I didn't do something like this. Ended complaint. I could just put them side by side like this and then do that. What are you guys seeing on your end? All right, cool. Now you're seeing the other thing. So this Exhibit A pretends to be just an email. Wrong thing. Here we go. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. But I'm back. We're in business. All right, let's go. So on January 1st, 2019, Justin emails Colleen about It Ends With Us book. Here's an email, and it says stuff. I'm not going to be zoom in. Some quick. It's not the greatest. Not the greatest. Well, anyway, there's an email from January 1st, 2019. Justin emails Colleen about It Ends With Us book. This is following the timeline from the pleadings. On April 11, 2019, when It Ends With Us author Colleen Hoover watched director Justin Baldoni's 5 Feet Apart in theater, she tells Baldoni, "You're the right person to make this movie." Conversations ensue. There's a footnote here. Due to international travel, some images may appear to reflect dates and times that vary from the local timeline. Fair enough. Discussion. They're in the talks to make a movie. On April 12th, approximately 4 months later, Hoover suggests Baldoni portray Ryle in the film. Have you given any thought to whether you would want an acting role in this? Say maybe Ryle. I could see it. They're having further discussions. May 8th of 2019, Justin options the book It Ends With Us from Colleen Hoover. Fast forward about 3 years, September 16th, 2022, Baldoni connects with a representative from a nonprofit organization, No More, which raises awareness and acts to end domestic and sexual violence with the intention of partnering on the film. Now, I don't know who here has seen the movie, but I have heard that movie highlights the perils of domestic violence. And so it would make sense that he's trying to partner with groups such as No More that are trying to raise awareness about the acts of domestic violence and how to potentially end it, I guess. By the way, is it even a good movie? I've heard mixed reviews on it. I've heard basically that it's kind of like meh. And then I've heard some say that it's like mildly entertaining. And then I've heard others of you say that I watched it, but I was hate watching it, but I was sort of entertained. It was all right. I guess it's like a B. I don't know. I wonder if the movie would be doing as well as it is if it wasn't for this lawsuit. I wonder. All right, conversations ensue. On September 23rd of 2022, Wayfair partners with Sony. Their agreements includes, at Wayfair and Baldoni's insistence, a requirement that 1% of the film's proceeds be donated in support of survivors of domestic abuse. That 1% was ultimately earmarked for the organization No More. Lively agrees to take the lead role of Lily Bloom. By the way that character has been described to me, that girl that played Wednesday, what was her name, man? She should have been the one. I think she would have been perfect for that role. I think she's actually 23 years old. Up and comer. Needs to get her stuff out there. She's in the hustling stage of her career. I don't think that she has like a all-powerful husband who is a part of the Hollywood patriarchy. Is that even correctly termed? I'm just saying. Blake Lively, I didn't even know who she was until this lawsuit. And when you look at her appearance, she looks just like Taylor Swift, which is to say there's like 50 of her running around in Hollywood. They all look the same. I just don't understand the insistence on Lively. Maybe this timeline will clear some of that up. So Baldoni and Wayfair develop marketing ideas for the film. They share these campaign ideas with Sony, including an idea for Lily Bloom pop-up shops nationwide, each of which would provide access to resources and safe houses for domestic violence victims. They also sought to partner with the nonprofit No More, which raises awareness and acts to end domestic and sexual violence. Excuse me. There's more email discussions. Here's one from Wayfair to Sony Marketing. It was great meeting with everyone to discuss the vision for the three pre-production social videos and initial content and campaign concepts. I've attached an overview of the topics covered during our call. We're excited to partner, bring IEWU to current blah, blah, blah. More talks. January 22nd, 2023. Lively introduces Baldoni to her friend and celebrity trainer, who would later become Baldoni's trainer as well. Baldoni and the trainer start collaborating, with the trainer delivering Baldoni's workout program on February 26th. Here's text messages as proof. Hey, Justin Baldoni here, a new friend of Blake's. We are working together on a film. I'll be headed your way first week of March for 4 months. Great to meet you, Justin. Happy to discuss. Let's jump on a call some point. And I guess they scheduled an appointment on February 9th. How long ago was that? So from January 23rd to February 9th, a couple weeks pass. Lively and Baldoni exchange text message. She jokes with Baldoni that she is 20 pounds from her goal weight. Baldoni responds by disliking the message. Lively thanks Baldoni for his support and friendships. Your friendship support helped me with that. Not holding anything professionally, just thank you for the friendship side. In the meantime, praying hands, for real, I was worried about you. I bet you feel 1,000 pounds lighter. I really do. Only 20 to go. Disliked, only 20 to go, and laughing emojis. And she seems offended by that comment. Is that what that means? In the world of emojis, is this face supposed to mean like she's offended? It would not shock me if she was offended by that. He's just over there trying to crack a joke. February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2 years ago, Baldoni begins writing and sending script revisions to Lively. All the while also building rapport with his co-star and lead actress. Lively responds, "You're safe here," indicating he need not worry about his choice of words and could speak freely. All right. So they have more text message communication. Perfect. Thanks. It's left over from the book or from months ago, but nice to see people still care about it. Clapping hands, been deep into writing. Really fun with you in mind. Fun, not the right word. Exciting. You're safe here. Hearts. Lively shares her concerns with Baldoni about having her body ready for the forthcoming sex scenes. This is really important. Their characters would shoot asking, what's the chance we can do body scenes at the end of the schedule? Baldoni tries to assure Lively that she doesn't need to stress about her body and emphasizes his determination to work collaboratively with her to ensure her comfort. They've highlighted this part of it. As woke as we both are and work to be, this is Blake Lively, I guess to him. This movie requires a certain aesthetic. It's a part of the job that we both excitedly signed up for. I don't shy away from it because it's not problematic. It's the assignment. Like when someone is about to start an athletic event, it's their job to be in top shape. My husband and I both look at certain roles as athletic events. This is one of them. It's not always a part of the job, but on this one, it is. And that's, she could have just said, hey, let's be in shape for the sex scene. And I would be like, cool. I don't need the whole preamble about why it's important to be in shape and how you view it as an athlete. Jesus, get to the point. As much as I'd love to not think about it, that would be irresponsible and also impossible because it's unrealistic to not acknowledge what I need to do. This is my job here, and I meet my responsibilities with extreme work ethic. I look for solutions to achieve my high goals instead of lowering my goals. We all win. Keep continuing with this. His response to that, I think my response would have been like, cool. One word. Thanks for all of that. He says, loved. Oh, I guess he just loved it. Thank you for your voice memo. It is deeply. Blake Lively says, kicking ass, but it's still a ton of work. with not a ton of time. What's the chance we can do body scenes at the end of the schedule? Justin says, I'm sure you are. Honestly, there's a billion moving parts to schedule right now. I just turned in the rewrite, and so they're hard at work. So much of it comes down to locations and the other cast availability. So, to be really honest, no clue. I want you to know you're going to look amazing. Anything you are insecure about, we will talk through, get creative together, make you comfortable. I just don't want you to stress about your body. It's the last thing you need. That sounds like a guy that's going to fat shame somebody on the set of a sex scene, doesn't it? Oh, just saying. February 26th, 2023, Baldoni's trainer provides him with a workout program. Here you go. Workout program, amazing. Can't wait to check it out. On the 28th, Baldoni and Reynolds exchange text message expressing mutual respect. And here's all the text messages of them with these. Jesus, that's a lot of texting. I'm exhausted just looking at that. That is exhausting to look at. Oh. What's up, Sarah Dawn? Lauren, that is unacceptable. Lauren 90. Jenna Ortega, that's exactly who it was. Jenna Ortega. All right. Let me get back into my thing. Here it is. All right, so they're texting back and forth in these long blocks. I'm not reading all these text messages. If somebody sent me a text message that long, just know I'm probably not going to read it all. I'm just not going to. I can't, man. That's a lot to say. Just pick up the phone and call me then. Like, text messages should be like a sentence or shorter. Like, just think of it, just restrain yourself. Anyway, they're in these text messages exchanging mutual affirmations of respect. Good for them. So March 29th of 2023, Lively shares with Baldoni that she has strep throat. Baldoni offers to send her some amazing gut health protocols that help after antibiotics. Lively responds, please. And as a result, Baldoni reaches out to his board-certified integrative holistic health coach. Jesus Christ. You want to know how you live in LA? Because you got a board-certified integrative holistic health coach that prescribes amazing gut health protocols that help after antibiotics, after the real stuff, I guess. Lively shares that they connected, saying she's incredible. Lively later claimed in her CRD complaint that this health coach was actually a weight loss specialist and that this was all a ruse for Baldoni to subtly fat shame her. Get the fuck out of here. Really? No way. This was the fat shaming that she's talking about. The health coach was actually a weight loss specialist, and that this was all a ruse for Baldoni to subtly fat shame her. No. All right, I got to go back. Trainer stuff, these mutual admiration text messages, March 29th. Baldoni offers to send her some amazing gut health protocols that help after antibiotics. Please. Lively responds. As a result, Baldoni reaches out to his board-certified integrative holistic health coach and connects them. Lively shares that they connected, saying, she's incredible. She's incredible. She's incredible. That's important. Lively later claims that the health coach was a ruse. The fat shame. Oh. Boy, I tell you, man, rich people problems. I'm not sure if this lady knows what an insult really is. I mean, to take that as fat shaming, that's just, what are we even doing? Well, here's some text messages from Justin to Blake. And these are the ones that they literally were talking about. They go on and on. We'll send shortly. Blake says, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, been on Zooms. Thank you so much. More friendly banter. Justin Baldoni. Blake is breastfeeding and had to take antibiotics for strep. her second round. Could you recommend a probiotic gut rebuilder I can send her? This is the wellness coach. Of course. Oh, no, poor thing. Yeah, that sounds like a fat shaming conspirators. A couple of them. Jesus. You try to do something nice for somebody. I'll tell you what, me and Blake Lively would never be friends for a million different reasons. She probably wouldn't want to be my friend anyway. I'm just saying that if she thought that that was a ruse to fat shame, me and her could never, ever be friends. It would go so wrong so fast. And you know what? I'm fine with it. She can stay over there. I'll stay over here. I don't need to talk to her. I need nothing to do with her. I promise you, she needs nothing to do with me. She's fine. April 1st, Blake shows up for in-person chemistry reads with potential co-stars to play her love interest, Atlas. At the end of the day, Lively sends a message to Baldoni stating, "That was fun yesterday. What a great assembly of people." And Blake says, "Ha ha ha," for the win. Can't wait to meet her. She's sparkly. I don't know who the redacted name is, but okay. And thank you, and Jamie, for such a kind note. That was fun yesterday, trying on Lily for a moment, mainly just to get to spend a little time with the core group. What a great assembly of people. I see why you adore Jamie. He's got the goods in all the ways and is the producer I always wanted, but have never met, and was so sweet and welcoming. It was lovely. Okay, good stuff. Friendly stuff, right? So April 5th, Baldoni hires an intimacy coordinator. Texts Lively to coordinate a time for them to meet. Lively declines to meet with the intimacy coordinator ahead of filming. Well, just hired an intimacy coordinator who I love. We'll set you up to meet. She likes it. I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you, though. The coordinator happens to be female. That's probably good. Just want to tell you about this. Seems she doesn't want to meet intimacy coordinator until we start, which may mess up the workflow, but I can still meet with her, of course. Producer, that's fine. If she doesn't want to meet her now, you'll just have to walk her through what you and blank are thinking. So April 7th, Baldoni shares the updated script with Lively. Lively excitedly texts Baldoni her thoughts on the pivotal rooftop meet cute scene. I so despise that term, meet cute. What does it even mean? Somebody knows what it means. I don't know what it means. Acknowledging its significance in the story, she asks if she can take a pass at the dialogue, hoping to infuse more of her voice into the character and make it more flirty and yummy. What does that mean? I would argue that that's more sexually harassing than anything I've heard coming out of Baldoni's side so far. Granted, I'm reading his complaint. But to be fair, I read Lively's complaint, and I had been unable to identify anything specifically that Justin said that could have been construed as sexually inappropriate, fat shaming, harassing, whatever. But if some lady says flirty and yummy, wouldn't that be more sexually inappropriate than anything that we've read so far in this evidence? Baldoni welcomes her input, eager to see her take on the moment and make her character hers. He waits for her notes. Text messages back and forth. Love a sparkle pass. A sparkle pass. So excited to read. I lied. So excited to get to work on this movie. I can't wait till Monday. Already reading. My kids are going to kill me. They've had enough of me, for Christ's sakes. The meet cute scene is, to me, the most important scene in the movie. Sets the tone and needs to feel extra special. You okay if I play around some of the dialogue to give her a bit more agency and fun and send to you? See, this is the part. I feel like this is the inception of her wanting to jerk with the original content that was part of an award-winning novel. It's starting here. Mark this date, April 7th, 8th, 2023. It'll affect some of your lines too if I switch out some of hers, but anywhere we can amp their verbal ping pong volley, I think we'll be cooking with gas, right? Reel that audience in and make them fall desperately in love with these two. Then when the other shoe drops, ouch, The audience will be devastated. We can use some, all, or none of it. I just don't want to step on any toes. And then Justin says, fuck yes. When he should have said, no, we're just going to leave it how it was. I mean, I realized in the context of a friendly conversation, I could see why, yeah, whatever, get your ideas. It works, it works. They're all in the planning stage, but she's already got designs on switching around things inherent in the script. It is a bad omen of negative things to come. Then Justin says, I couldn't agree more. It's what I tried to do in LastPass and some of what I was hoping we could do together. I can only write and play with what I feel is your tone so much. First scene is more important than film. It's why I'm okay with 10 pages. We rarely get to see that in films anymore. They continue. Blake says, you're the absolute best. Thank you. Emphasize. What does it mean when somebody emphasizes something? I'm an Android guy. Whenever somebody emphasizes something, this is what it looks like. What's it look like on an iPhone? I can send you my pass at the roof or just read with you when we get together. Anyway, more plans. Justin says, sorry, was just crying my eyes out as kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Oh boy, he's an emotional type, isn't he? Yes, send. It's so important to film and can't wait to play and find it. I agree so much. Lily needs to be strong and witty and playful and bold. That's why I wanted you. It's also one reason why I wanted to age her up. If a woman like you could fall into that relationship, then anyone could. And the more we love them, the more devastating act 3 is. The photo is devastating. Sorry to you all. All right. So, I mean, they're collaborating. They're being very respectful so far. I see red flags, but, nothing too crazy, I guess. But they are seemingly getting along. Later that day on April 9th, Lively shares her notes on the rooftop scene with Baldoni and follows up with a text. Eagerly awaiting his thoughts, Baldoni responds via voice note, expressing his appreciation for her passions and edits. While he likes her changes, he envisions the final version landing somewhere between her take and the original. Happy Easter. What'd you think of the pages? Baldoni meets with Lively at her apartment in New York. He is greeted by Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, who enthusiastically praises Lively's rewrites of the rooftop scene, which she had sent on April 8th, 2023. Hours later, as the meeting is ending, a mega celebrity friend of Reynolds and Lively walks into the room and begins praising Lively's script. Lively shares that she's ill for, again, the third time. This is the next day in 1 month. Baldoni asks if she would like to speak to his health coach, whom he previously connected her with in March. He also offers to take it one step further by connecting her with his medical intuitive. The hell is that? Lively later claimed that the health coach was not what Mr. Baldoni had represented her to be, and alleged she was a weight loss specialist, but she further claimed in her CRD that this was, fat shame, we get it. So what are these text messages supposed to show? Try to zoom in again. I guess I can only zoom in so much. That's the best I could do with these. As clear as it's going to get. So sorry, Ben at Doctors All AM. Strep. Oh, it's the whole thing that we had just read. This is them conversing about that. These are the text messages. Okay. So April 13th, Baldoni asks Lively to send him the FDX file of the rooftop scene she worked on. Lively emails him the file. April 14th, Baldoni and Lively text about script changes and enhancing dialogue for the role of Lily Bloom's mother, Jenny Bloom. Baldoni conveys he is happy for Lively to share her notes, but ultimately wants to run any changes by the scriptwriter out of respect. Lively agrees. In the wake of the meeting 2 days earlier, in the presence of Reynolds and their mega celebrity friend, who Lively describes as her dragons, in a lengthy text to follow. I wonder if that's the reference to Taylor Swift, the mega celebrity. Baldoni feels obliged to text Lively, saying they liked your pages and hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. Baldoni acknowledges Lively's text about her dragons and apologizes for not responding right away. However, he promises to send her a more thoughtful voice note later that evening. And here we have the text. You know, I'm going to try something. If I do it like this, is it going to come out any cleaner? I mean, well, I am on page Jesus. We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to do this. Switching to nope. Oh, tell me I didn't just get rid of it. Cancel. Summers, thank you so much for the 2. You skipped the flirty text Blake sent above. Oh, well, let me go back. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for the 5. $5 for the unbuttoned top button and loose tie look. I voted becomes flat standard for you and all guests on the show. I'm not sure if Bruce would be down for the open shirt, open tie look, but I'm down. I am down. I'm dressed like this because I had court today, and it's just how it worked out. But I approve that idea. I really do. I like it. On a side note, I accidentally got rid of, oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, that's what happened. Okay. This. And you. Okay. Go back to 12. Where were the flirty texts that I missed? I guess I got to go back up. If I skipped over them, it was because I couldn't read them. Are these the flirty texts? Is this what we're talking about? This is the complaint, Rachel. This is the complaint that I downloaded. For whatever reason, it's all fuzzy. And my right above when he said he was crying. Oh. So you're talking about these text messages right here. Okay, so she says, I can send you my pass at the roof or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. What the fuck? Why is it cool for her to say that and be all flirty and stuff, and he can't do whatever she said? I guess he's somehow, it's a foul if he recommends a health coach because it was a ruse to fat shame her all along. But she could say, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language. Flirty ball busting. Spicy and playfully bold. Never with teeth. Wow. What is a man to think when a woman comes at him like that? I will look at a sentence like that and be like, are you a little faded? Like, are you a little lubricated? Like, what's going on over there? What does this mean? Spicy and playfully bold. Never with teeth. Are you alluding to biting during sex, Miss Lively? What are you on about? She thinks she's being all cute and playful and stuff. It's so cringe. And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send now. Let me know what you prefer. Okay, so if that's a part of the rules now that they are establishing through friendly rapport, what are we talking about? So I have yet to see where Justin Baldoni has stepped out of bounds. I have yet to see it. If anyone were to be stepping over lines, wouldn't it be that text message? I can't get over this line. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret that. If I'm a guy, that just means like she's got a foul mouth and, flirts a lot. And so you would assume that she is trying to become better friends so that you're not so tight-assed around each other, breaking the ice a little bit. She says, "It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth." I know that's a cringe throwaway line. I know that, but it's important in this context because she's establishing the context and the framework for what's later going to become in this lawsuit. I guess allegations of sexual malfeasance. I don't even know what this lawsuit's about anymore. I really don't. On Lively's end, I don't know what she's on about in her original complaint. I read her original complaint. I was like, all right, I guess. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who Baldoni was. I read Baldoni's, and then when I read it at first, it seemed really defensive. You had to get like 150 pages in where you got to the meat of the complaints. Like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, and this. Oh, and that. Huh? What? Yeah. So I've still have not committed to a side. All I'm saying is Lively is looking questionable over here. What's up, the Schnitzel?
Hey, how's it going?
How you been, man?
Busy.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me all about busy, Schnitzel.
Oh, that's boring. You don't want to hear about it.
Oh no, Schnitzel is you are not boring. My schedule is boring. I'm trying to, here, give me 1 second. Let me just send this text. Okay. All right. Yeah, I needed reinforcements for this one because I know that you're well versed in this because he sat through Lauren Knighty's 8-hour, 6.5-hour bullshit stream. I
still can't believe that happened.
It's like, yo, I was in for like a good hour. It's like, you guys are kind of, you know what? Have fun with this one. I'm out. You got better things to do on Friday night. And then you're like, what do you got better to do on a Friday night? It's like, well, not this.
Literally anything else.
How about not read a complaint? How about that? Let me unstore these things. I'm supposed to. All right, cool.
So where are you, like,
Flirty
right,
text? Okay.
well, like for yourself, polling you, like, what are you leaning towards right now?
I am looking at Blake Lively really sideways because she's tying fat shaming into him recommending a personal trainer, some kind of a specialist, holistic medicine specialist. She claims, oh, actually, that was a weight loss specialist, and it was like a ruse to fat shame. It's like, what? What? Get out of here.
And these health people do lots of different things. They have medicine for all different types of things. I mean, if they were just treating a cold, like, what, they'd make no fucking money, like, ever. Like, anyway.
What's up, Lethal? Lauren 904.
Hey,
so I get here and I find out you invited this other slut to join us too.
I was on the email, bitch.
I don't look at that stuff.
Both. I invited Bruce too. He's like, nah, man, fuck that. I'm tired.
Sat through 6 hours of this with me this weekend. So
it's like, hey, Lauren, man, with these 6-hour streams, she's a monster. She's like, I don't know how you do it. It's like, yeah, I'm not doing that for 6 hours. I can't. Well,
yeah, this time I had to break it down to 3 hours on Saturday, then 3 hours on Sunday. But it was a pain.
Yeah. Well, I got a good 43 minutes left in me for today, and then I'm going to break it down further. Maybe later tonight, maybe even in the morning. I don't know. I'm tripping out on. Okay, if somebody sends you this text message, Schnitzel, Lauren, and they say to you, if you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how Flirty and Yummy the ball busting would play.
That's disgusting.
What?
No, that's sick.
If either one of you sent me that text message, I'd be like, dude, what? Are you high? Did you have a gummy?
Do I need to block you?
The answer is probably yes if I'm sending that message to anybody. But also, we read that, and then Bruce was trying to reference it later on. He said squirty and yummy, and I was like,
ew!
Bruce, no.
Squirty and yummy.
Sick.
Oh, me with this.
I'm scarred forever.
Jesus. Oh, and then she follows it Squirty and Squirty. Now I'm She follows up the Flirty and Yummy with "It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth." I'm like, ugh. It's like, are you talking about blowjobs? What is
Also,
this?
it's not her. It's a character. It is not you. Like, back the fuck out of it. This is not your life story. This is
Is she
not your
trying to-
husband.
Wait a minute. Is this her trying to play the role of her character?
This is talking about the infamous rooftop scene
Yeah.
that she rewrote, and she's talking about the two characters, their two characters, but she is not, as you are supposed to, she's not separating herself from the character. So it does not matter
Yeah.
how she's like, it's my love. Okay, well, go fuck off, go fuck your husband with your love language. Like, this isn't your husband, this character isn't you, this isn't your story. So
She's like setting up this weird method acting environment in this text message. What is the guy supposed to respond to that with? And then his response is, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was crying. My wife and kids are going to be gone for like 5 weeks or something." And then he says, "Oh yeah, send." And then Lily needs to be strong and witty and playful and bold. That's why I wanted you and more stuff. And I guess he shared a photo of his family. Sorry for all of that. And yeah, it's confusing. All I'm saying is, if I'm keeping score about the sexual malfeasance on the part of either party, I haven't seen anything more offensive than that. I haven't seen anything from Baldoni's side that I would construe as even approaching sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
But that text message, if you were to flip that in reverse, what if he was like, "Hey, so my love language is you will refrain from using teeth."
exactly.
That would be really creepy. And she would probably rightfully go straight to the producers or whatever and say, "Hey, what the fuck with this guy? Dangerous, man." Okay, so I think I got past this part. Lively shares rooftop, meets with her. Baldoni meets with Lively at her apartment in New York. He's greeted by Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, who enthusiastically praises Lively's rewrites. And then it gets kind of weird. Well, April 13th. Where was the part where he like kind of pushed back a little bit? Lively shares that she is ill again for the third time, previously connected. He offers to take it one step further by connecting her with his medical intuitive. Hey, what's a medical intuitive?
I mean,
You
I
know
think
what?
it's
I just go to the doctor. I don't know.
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's that person he recommended her to.
Like, I'm gonna take one look at you, and I can just tell by your aura that you got a little bit of you got a little bit of diabetes. It's a little bit of diabetes, also the way that you breathe.
Yes, it is. It's a person who claims to have the ability to perceive and interpret health information through non-traditional means, such as intuition,
no.
visualization, and psychic.
That is not my bag. I gotta tell you, like,
That's not my bag, baby.
no, I'm a big fan of modern medicine and just going to the doctor, but that's just me. So
Isn't it funny that like the richer that people get, like the worse healthcare they pursue?
yes.
Like, I'm just gonna go to this medical intuitive, holistic weight loss coach or whatever bullshit.
I'll say I was poor as fuck, and I tried to use essential oils to treat strep throat, and it didn't work. I had to go to urgent care and get medicine.
Oh,
You get a real bad infection. Like
I didn't
really
want to pay the money though, because I didn't have insurance at the
bad.
time.
Yeah, that's rough.
I can tell you
There is a way around that,
that your
I
prescription
just
for
don't pick up the phone when I get calls about medical bills. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna answer that.
my voice still sucks. Your trick didn't work.
You gotta rest. Vocal rest is the number one.
I sounded like I don't know what it sounded like. It sounded like a fire engine. Like,
You didn't talk at all.
Well, I have to talk. I talk all day. I
Yes,
can't.
but that's the problem.
I know. Well, fuck. And then here I am, still doing a stream. All right. Let me continue here.
Look at Lauren's picture.
God damn it, Lauren. Oh boy. Well, moving right along. My voice cracking like I'm on puberty.
Lively shares it.
Oh.
All right, so this is the whole text message string. Now, do you guys remember this line? If there's anything important that I'm missing by skipping over this, because I feel like he described it perfectly. COVID, never to woo-woo for me. I'm open to it all. Service is something that brings me joy. I got you, so sorry. I know the feeling. Friends go to personal concierge. That's me talking a bit. There's, yes, we'll fun. Just talk to blank. She can help, but needs you to fill out those forms so she can legally talk to you. Fine. Okay. I'm skipping it.
I find the text messages really interesting because I want to see where, like, what her general tone is with him as
Yes.
they're talking. Is she flirty with him? Like, I get that someone can be flirty without actually trying to flirt with someone. Like, they just have a flirty personality.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, because I haven't read through these all of the text yet.
And nor
just-
have I.
Yeah.
But it's like when I was saying before I started getting all this stuff, that when you're attacking claims of sexual harassment, you really have to expose the context, which is why Baldoni's attorneys have gone out of their way. They created this website, which is brilliant, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, all the text messages laid out. Look at all this. Look at all this friendly banter.
Yeah.
And look at this weird, biting, flirty text message that she sent him. And like all this other stuff. It lends context where we didn't have it before. And now it's all there for all the world to see. If Gingerbread is watching, this is kind of how you do PR. By publishing the evidence that favors your clients. That's unequivocal.
That's the reason he hasn't done it, because there is none.
And you can't just make it up either. No fair making it up. That's not the same thing. So,
No fake pregnancy.
You pay someone else to make it up for you. Is that?
well, I
Pay
guess
Fiverr, except don't actually pay them.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go.
there's levels to that shit. And yeah, don't pay them electronically. All right, April 14th. So Baldoni and Lively text about script changes and enhancing dialogue for the role of Lily Bloom's mother, Jenny Bloom. Baldoni conveys he is happy for Lively to share her notes, but ultimately wants to run any changes by the scriptwriter out of respect. Lively agrees. In the wake of the meeting 2 days earlier in the presence of Reynolds and their mega celebrity friend, is the mega celebrity friend
Taylor Swift.
that has been confirmed? Okay.
Yeah.
What's with this dragons shit? Who Lively described as dragons?
Game of Thrones.
Lengthy text to follow. Baldoni, I think I read this part. Well, these are the text message. Okay. So, hey, Lauren, was your copy this shitty?
Yeah, a lot of it was really bad when you zoom in.
All right. I took a look at Jenny's scenes. It's always different when you read with yourself in mind as the character. Have any of you ever acted in a play?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's super weird, man. Like your brain goes to like this weird place. Like you take on this whole other character. It's a lot of fun.
I was supposed to be a hawk once, so I didn't really become the hawk. But
Yeah, I mean, it's from what I understand about this kind of stuff, you could do super method acting, but like that's got to be a precedent that's set at the beginning, and you have to let people know that's what you're doing. So if she was method acting up above, it would have been already well established that that's what she was doing. She was saying that she is herself Blake. She likes to ball bust her husband. That she, I read it as that it's Blake talking about Blake, but that's the problem for me is that this character in this book is not Blake Lively.
Yeah, the problem is that it's not unequivocal. Like there's wiggle room there. Like, are we method acting? Are you talking as Blake? Are you talking? Because it wasn't clear in that text message what she was actually doing.
She said well, that's true. But knowing her and her husband and their relationship publicly, that they show people where they're like, always posting unflattering pictures of each other and making fun of each other, the ball busting. I mean, I feel it's pretty clear that she's talking there as Blake Lively. But yes, it doesn't explicitly say that.
That's how I read it, but I questioned myself when you were like, hey, the character is this and that. Like, oh wait, is she trying to play the character?
No, that's what I'm saying is she's supposed to be describing what the character would feel in that moment and what the character's love language is. And instead, in talking about the scene that involves that character, she's talking about herself, and she shouldn't be doing that.
Fuck your love language. Go fuck your husband.
Exactly. That's what I said.
That's a great line. We got to clip that one. Go fuck your husband with your love language. That's
Lord.
Exactly.
all right. So I took a look at Jenny's scenes. It's always different when you read with yourself in mind with the character. I see why a higher caliber of talent isn't working out. I see why higher caliber of talent. What's she talking about? It doesn't feel like Jenny has a point of view. If she's going to care so much, but what's on the surface or appearances, we have to at minimum see what's underneath. We need to see more where that comes from. Or if we don't have the runway, we need to give her more faceted depth in what we do see of her. I also think we're missing an opportunity to see more of Lily and her mother and vice versa. It would help make the characters pop and feel indelible. I don't actually hate this conversation that she's starting.
Mhm.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just how does it end is the point, I guess.
But also, is it her? I guess since she was a producer on it, I'm just wondering, is this her place to have these conversations? Like, you usually, I don't know, if you're in situations like this, you can have feedback about your character. You don't usually sit there and give your opinion on all the other characters and the other actors and who should be doing this and that. Like, that's really just not your place. So I have a little, I think it's a good conversation again, but then I'm like, but is it really her place to be like her job to be bringing this stuff up?
Well, what most actors will do is they'll write a whole biography of their character that nobody knows about,
Right.
but
Mhm.
just so that they have it and then they know about it and that it comes through in their performance, right?
Yep.
But if like Robert De Niro gives you this talk about his character, and you're like, whatever producer, I don't know how old De Niro is now. He's got to be like 80 years old. You're gonna listen to that guy. Blake Lively, I'm not sure. I mean, it's cool to have input and all, but if she starts demanding making changes and changing foundational portions of the script that has already been proven successful through a novel, problematic. But I guess the question would be that he acquiesces to it, and you could see some of that in these text messages. So I'll continue. Anywhere we can undercut all the drama with irony, effervescent characters, and unexpectedness, our movie will sing. I think it's a quick pass that doesn't add page count. I'm happy to take a run at it if you send me the script via FDX. I can also play with anything else that needs a little magic, so help fast track some of the conversations and rehearsals. Or if you prefer, I stand down. Please let me know. I said, bitch, that's all cool, but you're going to have to stand down on that.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for sharing. Stand down, please.
That's very good insight, but you're going to have to keep that to yourself, right? Move on.
Also, this is an example of her trying to downplay the DV in the movie and make it sing more, make it more of the summer like Barbie hit that I feel she was trying to go for.
Is that who Blake Lively is? She's the Barbie chick?
No, that's Margot Robbie, but because she was talking about bring your girlfriends, florals, have, these special cocktails that I designed, like have a night out with your girls and come watch this movie. And that's like the Barbie movie, like I'm not saying I went out with like my girlfriends and watched that, but this movie has a completely different tone and tenor.
Sure. It's a serious film.
Right. But her cut of the movie, it removed almost all of that storytelling to the point where people thought that when she was abused in the movie, they were actual genuine accidents and they didn't understand.
I thought the first one at least was. The second one was pretty obvious that it wasn't an accident, but they kind of left that open to, I felt like, interpretation a little bit. But
did you watch it?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm
gonna hard to tell the first time.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight. I don't know. Be like,
it's not a great movie. It's not the worst.
I know. I could tell you right now, I'm going to hate watching it. I'm probably going to have to watch it 3 times because I'm going to be so bored. It's so hard to watch a movie nowadays.
Lauren's picture again.
Oh, is it? Yeah. As long as it's not God damn it. As long as it's not a penis, I'm good with it.
It's a heart, and it says LN plus OS 5 Eva.
5. What does that mean? 5
like forever, but longer.
God.
The longest of 5. I used to have this email address. I meant it to say me and you forever, like with the number 4, but I accidentally, when I made it, this was a very long time ago, I typed MEN. So instead of me and you forever, it said men and you forever.
Yikes.
Totally.
Not responding to that email. Oh my god.
I had it for a long time.
All right. Jesus Christ.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the detour. Men Forever or whatever. How old were you when you made that?
Like 15.
Oh, I was gonna say like 8. That's something my daughter would make. You guys, so she was like heartbroken. She's like, my friend Jerry doesn't want to marry me. It's like, what are you talking about? He just said he doesn't want to marry me because I don't like to play with the soccer balls. And it's like, first of all, you're too young. Now, you know what? Get out of your hat. Get out of your mind. Get the bit. Never mind. Never mind what I just said. I can't even finish the story. Oh, never. My daughter was heartbroken because her friend who was a boy didn't want to marry her, and she was like heartbroken over it. She's like 5. She's like so eager to grow old and leave her childhood.
I was boy obsessed from kindergarten till a long time.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Some people start. I was girl obsessed from like the age of like 2. I vividly remember like sitting in a hot tub with like my mom and her friends, and I was like, I don't know, I couldn't. Where we were living, I could not have been older than 3, and I just remember staring at all of her friends. It's like you could see their nipples, and I was like,
oh my god.
And they're like, what are you looking at? I legit made them uncomfortable.
They're like, we know exactly what he's looking at.
Like, what are you dressed like that for? Oh, I was so confused. I knew I was straight from very early on. There's no doubt. My daughter Olivia is like that. She's pretty straight.
pretty straight.
I'm not so sure about Evelyn. We'll see. I don't know, man. It's questionable. I can't wait to see what they're going to become.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting.
All right. So I just canceled my next meeting and have an hour to you. Oh, this is Justin's response to her saying all that. Hi. On with No More, our domestic violence partner on this film. Revision? Response. Okay, so he's talking to them about it. He says, I think you're exactly right. So well said. Happy for you to take a pass. Love what you did on the rooftop, but out of respect, we'll want to run it back with my Christy. I don't know. Once done, and get her eyes on further tweaks to make sure her voice remains. I just canceled my next meeting and have an hour. Do you want to hop on Zoom and we can jump into final draft together and collab in real time? And hope this makes you smile. She says, cute. Nailed her, Dolly. So fun. Sorry I missed your text earlier. Okay, I thought that's a reasonable, hey, get back to you. I'm going over it with these other people that are also involved in the film. Mm-hmm. And her response appears to be this. So I think they wanted you and me to see how they felt about the work because they've been by my side for far too many experiences where I've been overlooked. I spoke to you about this when we first met. They've watched me handwrite scripts because the director is too afraid to send the FDX file, yet he scans and has someone hand type all 120 pages of my pencil rewrites. They've watched me be hired as a writer and paid a significant fee for it, but on the condition that I never ask for credit, which I could give a shit about. Why even bring it up? It's more the principle of the dynamics at play. They've watched the other side of it too, where I'm told at signing on that I'm wanted as a true collaborator. But once we get to work, I'm really just wanted as a yes man, audience, and actor. This is in response to his very reasonable text message. I'm pretty sure, right? Mm-hmm. Is this in chronological order? I guess is my question. I can't.
Well, those would be, yes. I mean, some of the other stuff regarding like the PR people would be jumping around in the timeline probably, but
if her response is this,
maybe you're supposed to go over to the right instead of down because the last sentence on the texts on the right is the first sentence of the text down.
oh, see, all right. That's why I was asking. Okay. So if you send me FDX, I'll work when I can steal moments. And yes, of course, please send to whoever. He says, great. We're all working on rooftop scene today. I really love what you did. It really does have something, whatever. He's in agreement. I honestly can't read. Yeah, all right. Talented, grateful, and let's do this together. All right. Because this is very appreciated. A lot. I'm deeply inspired by the that we're gonna make outside of the success. Goes on this whole long thing. I would just be like, Jesus, what was his response to all of you? That's just a lot to text.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys don't text that much?
No. You know how I text. I'm like 1 or 2 word responses, man. Like, hey.
Go ahead.
Lauren was like, I don't know. Every time Lauren texts me, she'll text me like this paragraph, and I'll respond with like 1 or 2 words. Like, yeah, sure.
Cool story.
Or show. All right. So his response to all of that was, hi, wow. Thank you for writing this. I have so much to say. I'm so sorry for the slow response. I gave a talk tonight to a bunch of youth in the city, and your message came through while I was theme there and haven't had a second to respond. Going to send you a voice note when I get out of the Uber. This is the voice note. Some morning thoughts in addition to my 2 a.m. semi-coherent ramble. One of the things that's been the hardest about this adaptation and all the rewrites is playing against the source material. I've rewritten the rooftop scene so many times and even thought I've changed the movie considerably. In many areas, I've kept it very close to the book and others. Rooftop is one of those scenes, which is why that last sparkly pass was a lot of fun as it started to open up the movie for me in some parts. Could somebody give me a 2-sentence synopsis of what the rooftop scene was about?
It's where they met for the first time. So like she's up there kind of contemplating after her like dad died, and she's just like hanging out up there thinking, and then he walks up there and she sees him for the first time, and that's how they meet and like start talking to each other.
All right. That was like 4 sentences, but cool.
They were run-on. It was a run-on sentence.
Yeah, I didn't put any punctuation in that.
All right. I also know what it means to be. Oh, what? Ferris?
Hang on. Wait.
Yo,
Means
I
to
got
be,
a better copy of this shit.
I wish there was one, dude. What it means to be fans. Does it say fans? What it means to the
fans.
fans?
I also know what it means to the fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're making a movie just for the fans, which is one of the reasons why I like what you did so much. Which my first 2 films, I try to make them self-aware as often as I could, knowing the genre they were in and what I was up against, and adding the lightness and a little bit of comedy to relieve the pressure. The only way I found that meaningful times. Okay, so they're having a collaboration. He responds to her long thing with his long thing. He says, "Thanks so much for thoughtful messages."
Dick pic.
What?
Never mind.
Oh.
What?
Who's sending you dick pics?
Why wasn't this mentioned?
Well, nobody sent me a long thing in a while, you know?
Oh my god.
I said you could fill those condoms with something long.
Yeah, true. I could.
Like a banana or like a
Cucumber.
a foot.
I will not be wasting groceries.
Foot? Did you say a foot?
I said a foot. Because on last stream, Lauren mentioned something that she was gonna. Never mind. Or you suggest. Never mind. I don't remember what happened. Let's just not talk.
I actually don't know what you're referring to. So.
You were gonna sit on your foot somehow, and then it was gonna be. Never mind.
It sounds like something I would talk about. I just don't know what I said.
I don't remember what you said. I just remember you saying that, and I was like, oh.
I was very tired.
Okay. Did I miss the Baldoni? The Baldoni? Did I miss the dragons reference?
Yeah, it's right there. Stop.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi, and like her, I happen to have a few dragons, for better or worse, but usually for better, because my dragons who protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise. All right.
That didn't actually work out the way that she said it was going to, but okay.
I mean, people have an overinflated sense of self on average.
Yeah.
So, April 14th, Baldoni follows up with a voice note responding to her text about her dragons, expressed his sincere apologies for not being more sensitive to her feelings. When responding to her notes on the rooftop scene, he acknowledged how lucky she is to have her husband and friends as her supporters. I gotta tell you, man, he's going like above and beyond, out of his way to like be friendly and responsive to everything she's saying. Because if I were to get like a block of text like that, and I think most people would, just be like, either that requires like a phone call, like, okay, I'm not texting all of that. So what are we talking about? I'll probably just pick up the phone and call her.
Yeah.
But I will not like write a heartfelt text message like that and leave like multiple voice notes. It's just not the way that I communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you guys, what
Voice notes before.
do you, well, voicemails are a little different.
Yeah.
I can see voicemails, but text message,
Yeah.
it's hard to type on that on like a little phone. You know what I mean?
I hate if I have to write out something long, I get pissed because it's just going to take a long time. So sometimes I'll even come to my computer and type it out and then like send it to myself.
Jeez.
Or I'll use like a voice dictation, but then there are always mistakes in that too. So you have to go through and proofread it. But yeah, if I got a big wall of text like this, I'd be like, fuck.
I don't proofread shit. I text. I don't even edit. I just, whatever just came out, I send. And sometimes it'll feel like just gibberish. Oh, what I meant to say was, I'm busy, man. I'm texting as I'm walking, texting, hey, got things. All right. So he also emphasized with her frustrations. Yeah, it's being super cool to her the whole time. Ultimately, Baldoni trying to convey that her thoughts are always welcome and he's excited to be working with her. On April 15th, the next morning, Baldoni, ready to continue work, followed up his voice note with a text to share additional thoughts on the script. Lively responded, thanking him for the thoughtful message and promising to always do things in service of their shared goals. This is a long thing, some other long thing that he sends, and she says, thanks so much for thoughtful messages. They're very appreciated. Looking forward to catching up in person. We're still in 2023. So Brandon Sklenar casting announcement. Brandon Sklenar joins Blake Lively in Sony's It Ends With Us adaptation. On April 20th, concerns about Lively's undue influence over the film begin to grow even before the filming started. Where does this begin? So the producer says he cannot let her have opinions on everything. Fair. Or she's going to be co-directing the film. Yes. We were talking about that a lot yesterday. Exactly. This is why everyone is starting to lose it. We've been talking about the same thing for months. Yeah, it's starting to get resolved. No, it's not. So, April 21st, Baldoni meets with the intimacy coordinator to discuss how to shoot the sex scenes. It was important to him that the intimacy coordinator be a woman to help craft sex scenes that would speak to the book's most female audience. Be written from the female gaze. His notes from this meeting are pictured below and were later shared with Lively during one of the script writing moments at her New York apartment. These notes would later become the basis for Lively's complaint, in which she states that Baldoni would talk about his own sex life and insert gratuitous scenes with Lively's character orgasming. I need to see. I heard that there was a video of this incident, or is that of something else?
I haven't seen a video of this.
What was the thing with the video that came out?
There was the scenes where she was like saying he was like improvising, like moving his lips up and down her neck and stuff when they were doing the
Biting her lip.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Which didn't happen.
Got it.
It was the dancing, the slow motion dance montage.
Okay. My whole point was with these accusations, they got an intimacy coordinator. They got the production crew there. They got all these people on set. They have everybody there to witness and observe everything. Their only job is to look to see that everything goes down exactly as it's coordinated or works for the film, whatever. If she's alleging something, there's plenty of witnesses, and it's going to be on film. And it seems like has already happened. She's alleging things that have happened that have not borne out on the film that exists. So we're in dangerous territory with her right now with all of this. Because if it's unequivocally false and can be proven as unequivocally false, and it looks like we're kind of getting to that place with Lively, then it's as the lawyer said, she's dead in the water. He thinks that she's dead in the water with all this stuff because her claims have been proven so far, according to him, demonstrably false. And so we're really getting into some of the merit of the lawsuit right here with this. So he says, his notes from this meeting are pictured below, were later shared with Lively during one of the script writings. The notes will later become basis for Lively's complaint, orgasm. Okay. As seen in the notes, these mentions come directly from the intimacy coordinator's notes, goes down on her, orgasm, foreplay, the clit test. Was there a clit test in the movie that you could identify?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I don't recall if they actually put that into the sex scene or not. If they were like, because he wanted to do like a simulation, like not actually like,
Okay,
gonna go down there or whatever, but he was gonna do like a simulation of oral sex or something, and I don't know if that ended up happening or not. I can't remember.
a simulation of the clit test. So what are you supposed to do? If you're like, how do you perform that? He has to pretend to go down on her. She has to orgasm, foreplay, the clit test. That seems very specific, like they're directing something very specific.
Those are, those are notes from those were notes from the meeting with the intimacy coordinator, so I'm not really totally sure what that means. Yeah.
Right.
From the coordinator, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the intimacy coordinator is saying like, okay, they're given a scene and then say like, how do we map this scene out? Okay, like he'll have, you guys will have foreplay, you'll go down on her and she'll orgasm, like that kind of thing. I don't know what the fuck a clit test is.
What is the rating on this movie? Is it R or PG-13?
I don't even know.
PG-13?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because how are you going to put the clit test in a rated R movie? I mean, let alone a PG-13. But there's no nudity in this film, as far as I'm aware. It's
No, there's not really. I mean,
PG-13.
Yeah.
PG.
But
Yeah.
also, it could have been that her cut didn't have a lot of this stuff in it, so they may have filmed scenes like this that she just didn't put them in the movie. So maybe his was going to be a rated R, and then hers ended up being a PG-13.
Director's cut.
Yeah.
Still, I
Also,
need.
have you seen Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman?
No.
New one that came out. So in this movie, she's like a high power CEO. There's an intern. It's this whole, she's older, like a cougar kind of thing, but she's married. She has interest in sexual kinks, but has never felt she was able to express that to her husband or that she would be judged. So she ends up having this like weird relationship with this intern where she likes to be dominated. So she's like drinking milk out of a saucer on the ground. Like she's, yeah, you should watch it. You should watch it.
I might pass on this one.
But anyway, it's simulated sex. It's simulated oral sex. It's like, so, and there are so many movies that have this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
even Game of Thrones has that stuff. So anyway, it's not out of the ordinary, especially these days, to have these kinds of things in movies.
Agreed. Still don't know what the clit test is, but I'm going to move
I don't
on.
either. Should I Google it?
No. Well, later.
Later when you're alone.
Yes. So ideally, these conversations would have taken place directly between Lively and the intimacy coordinator directly, as Baldoni had requested. However, Lively declined to meet with her, leaving Baldoni in the less than ideal position of having to relay these notes to Lively in her penthouse. But you know what? From what I've gauging off of the text messages that we've gone over, I don't see why that would have been weird, given the level of back and forth that they've had. These are notes from an intimacy coordinator. You don't want to talk to the coordinator, then fine. These are handwritten notes. Sex in Vegas. Shaving with, I can't pretend to read somebody else's scribbles. Orgasm, the clit test, 48 hours, stuff. These are notes. They were gone over during, I would imagine a planning session.
Yeah, that she refused to attend.
Right. All right. So, in preparation for a lift sequence in which Baldoni's character Ryle would lift Lively's character Lily, Baldoni reached out to his personal trainer, a close friend of Lively's, to ask what Lively weighed so that he could train his back muscles for the scene. That's okay. Admittedly,
but he has back issue. He has chronic back issues.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that weird to ask that question.
Right.
I guess what I was getting at. I think the way that I would ask is like, so what do you weigh? About what? 115, 125? And then, oh, how dare you? Whatever with that. Get on a scale. I got to lift you. My back is injured. I feel like that shouldn't be that weird of a question.
Right. But then here's the thing, like, how was it relayed to the trainer versus how the trainer related to Blake? Is the trainer some gossipy bitch who's like, oh my God, guess what Justin said about
maybe
like, that's totally so he's gonna have to be deposed and asked about that.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
I found out what the clit test is. It's not like gross or anything. So it says it's been over 2 years since Francis Rayner founded the Clit test campaign, dubbed it's a what is that? Bechdel test for sex scenes. It requires a TV show or film to acknowledge the existence of a clitoris and its importance. The idea that sex equals a penis going into a vagina feels truly on its way out. So
it's some feminist shit.
Yes.
All right, I gotcha.
I should have just said that. Some feminist shit, man.
Well, because back in like the 90s, like every sex scene, you would ever see in the 90s, like this woman was having this like uncontrollable orgasm from like, I don't know, like missionary or some male dominated.
It must have been a comedy.
Pouring hot wax on her forehead. She's like writhing in bed and like uncontrollable orgasm and like,
her forehead.
Yeah. So it makes sense that would be a thing that we should bring sex back to reality. Like the Showgirls scenes where she's like in the pool with that guy and she's like flailing about. Like that's not what. Okay, but it's just not what real sex looks like. They had, everybody was on a lot of stuff back in the 90s and 80s. It is what it is.
They didn't really care about female pleasure back then either.
Not at all. Oh yeah, there's a whole podcast that talks about that. Called Sex in the, I forget what it was. It's the You Must Remember This podcast. How they document sex scenes in Hollywood, going all the way back from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, male-dominated thing, and not ever emphasizing the female pleasure. It was always like this. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. But 100%, it makes perfect sense when you read that, what that is, and why it's there. So anyway, he asked her about the weight. Not only Baldoni, who has suffered from lifelong back injuries, multiple bulging discs and chronic pain, but also to Lively, if the lift could not be completed successfully and safely. Lively would later claim in her complaint that this scene did not exist. However, as evidenced by the script pages and also a video in which Baldoni is rehearsing the scene with a body dumbbell, the scene was very real. All right, so here's the scene.
So my question is, did she just forget it that this was in the script and there was physical documentation of this, or was she just flat out lying and hoped it never got this far?
It's more likely this part that she just forgot because she didn't actually read the whole script.
Like she hadn't read the book before she took the role.
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I think she just forgot. It makes no sense for her to deny the presence of a scene that's so easily provable.
Right.
That would not be the thing to lie about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not dying on Bunker Hill on that fact. So, April 25th, Baldoni was summoned by Lively to her penthouse and greeted by Reynolds, who swore at Baldoni and accused him of fat shaming his wife. How dare you fucking ask about my wife's weight? I'm like, Ryan, bitch, the fuck? I gotta lift her. I have to lift her. What do you mean? What? First of all, I would think that he was probably joking, honestly. I would probably like take that as like he ain't being serious. But then he was on some Will Smith shit. It's like, oh. Oh, it's like that. It's like that. You're defending her honor. Okay, I'll pretend to be remorseful. Fuck you. What does your wife weigh? 125, 135? Shit. I don't know. Never work in Hollywood. I just couldn't, man. I couldn't. I don't know. What if okay. What if somebody you were an actor and somebody's partner comes at you like, how dare you ask my wife's weight? What would your reaction be?
I would probably get quiet and do whatever I had to diffuse the situation in that moment. In my younger years, I would have like bitched him out. But in my wiser years now,
Like bitch slap them? I know.
I probably would have said like, "What's the fucking problem?"
Yeah, I have to lift her. I have an underdog. What the fuck? I can't know what your wife's weight is. Who cares? You know? I don't know, man. People are
Like, yeah, like I don't care about the number. I just need to know if I can lift her safely for her sake and for my sake.
Yeah, I weigh 215. How much do you weigh? Does it have to be like state secret over here? I don't understand like why the top secrecy. What's the point? I don't know. Are we defending her honor? The honor of the secrecy of her weight? What is this? Like 1850s Europe or something?
I can't wait to see if they in Discovery if they get the text between Blake and the trainer, because I'm sure there's juicy bitchy shit in there.
At what point did they form the opinion that this was a fat shaming ruse, as opposed to somebody just trying to give her good health advice?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he says the tone from Reynolds and Lively was so aggressive that Baldoni felt he had no choice but to offer repeated and completely unwarranted apologies for what was a good faith and reasonable question to her trainer. Now, to be fair to him, these two people are shot callers in Hollywood, I guess. Maybe he had that impression. And I don't even actually know if they are or not. I don't know what current day Hollywood, who you would bow down to, but they certainly saw themselves that way. And maybe he thought that him matching his energy would be like a career-ending move, which is a dick thing to do. But people do that all the time in Hollywood and been doing it for hundreds of years now. And so he's like in a spot. Like what? He's going to fight Ryan Reynolds in like the end of his Hollywood career? Like someone's coming at you with that energy and it's completely out of left field. It's like when Will Smith goes up there to slap Chris Rock. What is he supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
He's like put in like quite the pickle.
Mm-hmm.
Does he slap him back? Does he go on with the show? Does the show must go on? Jesus, it's a weird spot to be in. I feel for him in that moment. Even if he wanted to throw like a punch or match that energy, I could see why he didn't. And I could see what his attorney is saying. All right, so Reynolds demanded that Baldoni remove the lift scene entirely. In Lively's complaint, she falsely states the scene wasn't even in the film. Okay, so she's wrong on that. Mm-hmm. There's the evidence. It's right there, page 16, suggesting it never existed. Contrary to her attempt to manipulate verifiable facts, the only reason the scene was not in the film is that Lively and Reynolds demanded it to be removed, despite the fact that it has already been rehearsed with a stunt double. Accommodating Lively, Baldoni rewrote the scene with her despite the fact that, for creative reasons, he felt the scene was unnecessary. Baldoni was stunned by Lively's accusation because when Lively had earlier expressed concern about her postpartum figure on February 17th and February 24th, Baldoni genuinely reassured her she need not worry about her body. He did. We saw those text messages, first 5 pages of this document. In fact, it was Lively who insisted that she be fit for the role. She did say that. Could we reschedule the thing for like the end of the thing? She was saying stuff like that, acknowledging it. I think she's talking about the sex scene, actually. In fact, it was Lively who insisted. So Lively told Baldoni that if he could not get on board with how she works, he still had 2 weeks to recast her. As Lively well knew at the time, it would be impossible to recast her without incurring millions in expenses for a film that was already half shot. In addition to financial repercussions, it would cause the studio and Baldoni severe reputational damage, including their relationship with Sony, the film's distributor, financiers. So, all right, she has now, this is where it goes off the rails. It was around this time, April of 2023, because of a question about her weight that leads to the removal of a scene. It sets the groundwork for why he had to go and talk to her about these coordinated sex positions that she skipped the meeting for. I don't know. This is where it's starting to go off the rails. We're like on page 16.
Almost done.
Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap this up. I'm going to have to do like a part 2 and probably a part 3 because I ain't got the stamina that Lauren's got, man. Lauren, hour stream. I got to go put my kids to bed. I might jump back on stream later tonight and finish this. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
If you all are around then, you could join me then or not. Or just like, have like a schnitzel and
Have a schnitzel.
Have
Yeah.
myself?
like, isn't a schnitzel like a hot dog? Have we
The-
talked about what schnitzel is before?
Yeah, it's breaded pork.
Oh, breaded pork. So like a pork hot dog.
It's like flat.
Oh, so like a pork sandwich, like a pork crustable.
A
Never-
pork crustable.
Ew.
You're the one called the schnitzel. I don't know. It sounds delicious.
It's bread, not crust.
No, you're crusty, bro.
But do you like fry it, like deep fry it, so it's like delicious?
I don't think it's deep fried, but you do fry it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this last one and then I'm gonna wrap up and I'll probably do a part 2 tonight because what else am I gonna do on a Monday night? That I don't have court hearings for tomorrow, so that's a plus.
Nice.
All right. So on April 25th, Baldoni, I wanted to get to this part. So Baldoni was summoned by Lively to her penthouse and greeted by Reynolds, who swore at Baldoni, accused him of fat shaming his wife. Oh no, I read this part. I wanted to get to where they go over the sex notes. April 25th. So the line producer on the film shares concerns about the ballooning wardrobe budget. The wardrobe stuff. Lively's taken over, stating that it was way more than she had ever seen the wardrobe go over budget with the initial spend. This is the email. I feel like we've seen that one before. Baldoni feels homesick on April 27th, and they share text messages back and forth. So Blake just offered to fly me to LA with them tomorrow at 2 so we can get 6 hours of work on line script and then fly back Sunday in another 6. James Heath. Okay, so let's talk when we get there. On April 28th, Baldoni flies to LA from New York with Lively and her family for the duration of this is like 5 days after he almost fought her husband. Is that weird? Would it be weird after you have like a confrontation like that where like under normal circumstances it could have went a different way, but now they're like on a flight to LA together? Would that be awkward?
I think it's awkward that she and Ryan invited him on that flight.
Right.
I'd be so confused. I'd be so confused living in this Hollywood universe. Like you just like, all right. May 1st, Lively begins altering the script daily. The frequency of Lively's revisions and input alarms the producers who anticipate that her interference would persist every day of the shoot and disrupt the carefully planned production schedule. Producer, are you listening to this? She's fixing the script. I think blank advice was actually wrong. Blake is now directing the movie. This is bad. I'm listening. Jamey Heath. She is the Jamie. This is the Jamie. Okay, talking through it is better than not. Seeing what's possible as long as any decision is done with approval. Not for something that was already intimately planned. She's pissing everybody off. May 2nd, the Writers Guild of America goes on strike. May 3rd, Lively and Baldoni text almost daily and were comfortable making silly jokes. Here's evidence of them making silly jokes. On May 5th, Wayfair holds a respect in the workplace meeting via Zoom with the production team to review appropriate on-set behavior and other HR-related matters before principal photography begins. This is a standard part of pre-production and employee training. And here is the meeting, respect in the workplace meeting via Zoom. Oh, have you all ever had to be a part of one of those meetings?
Mm-mm.
Oh yes.
Nice.
Watching dumb videos and yeah.
Here, let's do a role play of something you should not say to a coworker. And it's like, hey,
Do you know what the clit test is?
Wait, roleplay of something you should not say to a coworker. That sounds like fun.
hey, Lauren, I like that sweater. It makes your tits look great. Have you ever heard about the clit test?
I've not heard about the Clit test, but I did put a lot of effort into my boobs this morning.
My tit sweater.
Yeah.
The sex scenes in the 90s? How they focus on male pleasure? Well, nowadays, the clit test focuses on female pleasure. Do you want me to demonstrate over lunch?
I would probably just look at you like you're a fucking moron, to be honest. That wouldn't even like bother me.
Like
Be like,
that.
I dare you.
Yeah, totally. Do it. Do it, bitch.
I worked in this. This isn't super directly related to that, and I know you're trying to go, but I worked in an office. It was like a temp job where this guy, like you can send an email and recall the email. So if you recall the email before the person reads it, they never even know it was in their inbox. But if the person reads it and then you try to recall it, it alerts them that you've attempted to recall the email.
Well, that's fucked up. And why do they do that? No.
So this guy who was married sent me an email basically simply like, I'm out of town this weekend, but I'm going to be back like blah blah blah, like next week, and would love to like get drinks with you and like hang like it like I think you're really pretty, stuff like. And I read it and I was like, jaw to the floor, like, oh my god. And then I got a notice that he tried to recall the email.
He had a moment. He had a fight. Well,
Well,
he
I
had
heard
a moment.
there were like lots of issues there with his relationship, I guess, but I don't know, what we were just talking about reminded me of that story.
Oh, well, examples of things not to say to other coworkers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, folks, I'm going to end the stream with that. I'm going to start part 2. If not tonight, then in the morning. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get it done. But also, there's a hearing tomorrow. Or was it this morning?
It was today.
It was this morning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What happened with the hearing today?
I was following that along, but I didn't. I lost track at some point because it was during work.
The gag order was denied, but the judge told them to like be careful about what they're saying because they don't want a biased jury. The judge consolidated. There was some discrepancy between what was consolidated, but it seems like the Baldoni against Lively and Lively against Baldoni cases were consolidated like basically into one case.
Yeah.
And the judge is wanting to move things up as far as the timeline. So we might be seeing a trial before March 2026. And the judge denied Blake's request to not be deposed.
You can't just do that. Like, what the fuck was that?
I mean, you could try. She tried, but no, you're going to get deposed, bitch.
Is that ever successful, though, if somebody tries to do that?
Well, you'd have to have like a medical reason or some very specific reason why it can't happen. And it's less common now because we got Zoom. You don't have to physically be anywhere.
Right.
Like I know people were worried about Laura from Owens v. Eckerd saying she had COVID or something when
Yeah. All right, we'll do it on Zoom then. Wear a mask, I guess. On your Zoom feed so we don't get COVID. I think we'll risk it. Yeah. All right, folks.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah. I love you guys. We're going to make this a part 1, and then I'm going to go over the rest of this either tonight or tomorrow. I can't make any promises, but if you see me live tonight, you know what's happening. How about that?
Nice.
I love you guys. I'll see you in a bit.
Ever.
Yes, man.
Love you 5 ever.
With my own picture. Jesus. All right, folks. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.